Thank you, Whitaker Locke, and happy Mother's Day to all our mothers, past and present. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Columbus, Georgia. We are an inclusive community of people who support each other in our own free, responsible, and unique searches for truth and meaning. We don't have a creed, but we do have some principles, and we'll talk about those a little later. Those of you who have been paying attention to our services might be saying to yourselves, hey, wait a minute. Whitaker wore that shirt on October 11th and he played the same hymn. And we're busted. Whitaker comes to us pre-recorded this morning, and I picked out one of his hymns that I liked from October 11th. Whitaker almost never misses a service. His attendance record is just about perfect. However, last week he came to me and he said he'd like to have Mother's Day off because he'd like to go see his mother. So, what can you say? Had to say yes. So Whitaker is by video this morning for both our opening and closing hymn. And our reading and our talk this morning are by Danielle Neal, who is on the call, but she's coming to us by video from Massachusetts. She's been our roving reporter and roving reader for some months now. And this past week, she was at the grave of Julia Ward Howe, who was a 19th century or 19th century Unitarian, I should say, and also a pacifist and a feminist, and the author of a Mother's Day proclamation that she wrote in 1870. So she was among the very first mothers in the United States to call for a Mother's Day, and she wasn't exactly a Hallmark card writer either. A very interesting talk and a really interesting reading coming up from Danielle. We have been holding our services in person in the meditation garden for some weeks now. But since all of our music and our inspirational words were coming to us by video today, and the board failed to approve our request for an outdoor jumbotron in the meditation garden. So we're going to do it on Zoom this week, and we'll also do it next week when Joni Andrus will present a pre-recorded talk about mindfulness and the 7 principles. And there's a lot of, this is going to be one of those services with news you can use. So I urge you to join us next week by Zoom. We know that we're all kind of zoomed out. It's not the same as meeting in person. So my good news announcement for the morning is on 2 weeks from today, on Sunday, May 23rd at 11 a.m., we are returning to Grace Fellowship Hall for an in-person service, live and indoors. This is quite an occasion to mark. I think it's been well over a year since we've done that. We will be masked. We're asking everybody that comes to have already been vaccinated, and there will be social distancing, and the doors will be open, and there'll be lots of ventilation. If you're still uncomfortable meeting in person, we will also Zoom that service. Your service leader will be our president, Hal Majette, very fitting for our return to Grace Fellowship Hall. And our presenters will be longtime member John Comiskey and our former member, Barry White. Both John and Barry are loyal and frequent volunteers at the Mountain, which is a spectacularly beautiful UU retreat in the mountains of North Carolina. And they will describe what's going on in the mountain now and how we might participate in programs there. And speaking about meeting live, the discussion group has started meeting live and in person in Grace Fellowship Hall. And you can kind of see there are 4 folks in Grace Fellowship Hall watching this Zoom Zoom presentation. That discussion group will have lots of social distancing, and it will also be available on Zoom. And on this Wednesday, at 7 p.m., the topic is why are there anti-vaxxers? Why indeed? So show up Wednesday either at Grace Fellowship Hall or on Zoom to find out. So we start our services by lighting the chalice, and David is going to do that duty as he does on our Zoom services. The flaming chalice symbolizes for us reason, tolerance, and freedom, and also justice, compassion, and love. Thank you, David. And now it's time to affirm the 7 principles of Unitarian Universalism. These are the principles that we affirm, promote, and try to live by. Number 1, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Number 2, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. 3, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations. 4, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Number 5 is the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large. 6 is the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. And 7, respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. Another way we proclaim the vitality of our fellowship is through sharing brief and personal joys and concerns. Please note, not a time for politics or announcements or commercials. Rather, it's a time to share what's personally important in our own lives. But let's start by, David, if you will light a candle for those concerns that people might not want to share in public. Thank you, David. And then there's a couple ways we can all share a joy or a concern. You can type it in hit the chat button at the bottom of your Zoom screen, or you can raise your hand, and I believe you can even, Elise can unmute you and you can speak to us. The Celebration of Life toast is unique to this fellowship, written by our very own Ed Wilson. It carries no doctrinal significance whatsoever. It's not a sacrament. Rather, it's simply a warm tradition, and we invite you all to share it with us. So I think most of you who are on the call know the drill. If you have a cup of a beverage, now would be the time to get ready. I'm going to read the toast, and then we'll all read the final line together. We celebrate life with its beauty and its pain. We lift these cups in tribute to the achievements of human minds and hands, and in sensitivity to the frustrations of misfortune and heartache, not fixing blame or credit for the outcome of chance, sensing the risk, savoring the joy, sharing it all, knowing of the certainty of death, and remembering the value of each moment. We drink this toast of celebration to this time, to the future, to each other, to the throbbing of the earth and sea and sky with life. Together, we drink this toast in celebration of life. This morning's offering will now be given and received in the spirit of grateful fellowship, and we really appreciate all your contributions. They've helped us keep us running through the pandemic, and I think we're all going to get through this. You can mail your offerings to the Fellowship UUFC at P.O. Box 698, Fortson, Georgia 31808. You can also use them internets and donate by PayPal. Just hit the Send Money button and then put send to as our email address. So send to uufcga@gmail.com. And I would take this opportunity to let you know that we are, especially this month, supporting 4 different organizations, and you can donate to them directly through us, and that way the donation comes from the fellowship. And so just either mark on your check or put a note on your PayPal donation that what amount should go to UU and what amount should go to one of these organizations. One of them is the Homeless Resource Network, and business is booming there for obvious reasons. And business is also booming at the Feeding the Valley Food Bank, which is this area's largest food bank, and it's a tremendously worthy cause. We are also collecting contributions for Paz Amigos, which is a group that helps immigrants. I've talked about it often. And now the Stewart Detention Center south of Columbus is beginning to get huge influxes of women. And what Paz Amigos does is they help immigrants who are released from that detention center, help them get to their families throughout the United States. And last but definitely not least, this month's Giveaway the Plate, which is traditionally the third Sunday, is going to be for the Mountain. So remember, the Mountain has a big fundraising drive this month, and this month it's matching funds. So if you donate to the Mountain, a generous donor will match those funds. So while you look for your checkbook or while you log into PayPal, we're going to have some offertory music. It's something different today. I mentioned that our music today comes from our October 11th service, and that was a service that was all about Ralph Waldo Emerson. Ron Usry had a tremendous talk. Really interesting. You can look at it on YouTube, and you might say, well, why did you pick that? What does that have to do with Mother's Day? And well, the reason I picked it, part of it is that as I was looking at that October service, I realized or remembered that was the month we marked the 5-year anniversary of the dedication of Grace Fellowship Hall. And of course, as those our longtime members will know, Grace is a wonderful concept, but we named our fellowship hall after Grace Jordan, a person, a woman who was one of the pillars of our fellowship. Grace and the whole Jordan family have been so important in our growth over the last years, decades really, and particularly our move to this new campus on Heiferhorn Way. Grace was kind of an uber mother to all of us, a mother to the fellowship. Excuse me. So what I thought was, let's say Happy Mother's Day to Grace. And what better way to do it than we recorded that dedication ceremony. The Samford University a cappella singers provided the music for our dedication ceremony. One of the pieces they sang was Amazing Grace. So dedicated to Grace Jordan. David, if you'll cue up the Samford Choir. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound, saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, now I'm found. I still get goosebumps remembering that moment. So happy Mother's Day, Grace Jordan. Um, this morning's reading, as I mentioned, comes from Danielle Neal, this time from many locations. It's a poem. So David, if you will cue up Danielle.
Thank you for joining me today. I would like to share with you a poem called I Am Mother by Kristen Canny. However, I won't be alone in reading this poem. I have asked my mother-in-law Darla, my mother-in-law Terry, my mother Denise, my grandmother Jean, and my grandmother-in-law Kay to help me read this.
I am mother.
I'm a mother. I am a mother.
I am mother.
I am mother.
I am mother.
I am mommy. I am Chinese, Jewish, African, Republican, Muslim, lesbian, Catholic, Cuban, Irish, straight, Democrat, Baptist, German, Latina, Native American. I am Russian. I am mother to my baby, a true miracle on this earth. I nurture this precious being, whether conceived in my body or that of another woman, a precious being whom I love more than life itself. I am mother.
I am mother.
I am mother.
I am mother.
I am a mother. I'm a mother.
What do I dream for you, my child? That you feel loved deeply, that you know you are truly worthy, that you are never hungry or cold or thirsty, that you are safe and you never fear for your life. I am mother.
I am mother.
I'm a mother. I am a mother.
I am mother.
I am mother.
May you, my child, wake in wonder to a glorious sunrise and feel the warmth of those rays for years to come. My daughter, may you be stirred by the soft velvet of a lush forest floor, and may your heart dance to a serenade of bird songs. May you, my son, watch salty surf wipe away your footprints in the sand, and may you see soft snowflakes pile on the pine boughs, cascading fragrantly up the mountainside.
My child, may you feel life's deepest beauty and may you embrace it on the most profound levels. May you always be intimate with truth and peace. Indeed, there will be dark hours, but my babe, they are short, and that pain can open the door to light, yours and all the world's. I am mother.
I am mother.
I am a mother.
I am mother.
I'm a mother.
I am mother.
My son, may you create meaningful friendships and embrace the truest forms of love. My daughter, may you bask in the joy of family for generations. My child, may you appreciate the colors and voices of our world, and may they all enjoy yours too, my dear. May you always be happy and healthy and safe, and may you feel my unwavering devotion in every moment, despite any miles between us. For this I dream, for this I exist. I am here, I am yours, I am your mother. I love you, my darling, as all mothers do, everywhere. I am mother.
I am mother.
I am mother.
I am a mother.
I am mother.
I am mother.
Wow. That talk was suggested by UUA's worship website, and Danielle and friend and mothers hit it out of the park. There's 2 great-grandmothers, 3 grandmothers, and 1 mother in that video. So thank you, Jean Stanhope, Denise Cook, Darla Kenahan, Kay James, and Terry Neal. And thank you, Danielle. Now it's time to introduce our speaker. the same Danielle. And I've done this a lot over this pandemic, so I think most of us know the story. The family moved to Pennsylvania. Danielle still teaches at Columbus State University, an anthropologist, a forensic anthropologist too, and a mother. And she's been a mainstay of our pandemic Sunday services. So David, let's welcome back Danielle Neal.
Thank you. First, let me wish a happy Mother's Day to all the moms in our fellowship and all the mothers around the world without whom we would not be here today. I am currently at the Fatima Shrine in Holliston, Massachusetts, an entire park set up in the honor of Mary, the mother of Jesus. Today we celebrate a tradition in the U.S. over 100 years old, signed into proclamation by Woodrow Wilson on May 9, 1914, making every second Sunday in May Mother's Day, as a public expression of our love and reverence for the mothers of our country. But the celebration of mothers and motherhood did not simply start with Woodrow Wilson. In fact, religions all over the world have celebrated the mother for centuries, with origin stories and important roles within mythology and iconography. At the heart of many religions lies a mother figure, like the statue of Mary behind me. Usually she represents a life giver, a healer, a nurturer, a grower, a protector, or the beginning of all things. The Greek primordial deity Gaia, for instance, is believed to be the ancestral mother of all creation. From her came everything: the sky, the mountains, the sea, thunder and lightning, and even love. She is also the mother to the heavenly gods. In Greek vase paintings, Gaia was depicted as a buxom, matronly woman rising from the earth, inseparable from her native element. It is believed that her origin is in fact older than the Greeks and could possibly be a pre-Indo-European Great Mother, worshipped during Neolithic times, possibly represented by the voluptuous Venus of Willendorf. She's even worshipped today by neo-pagans, who see her as the spiritual embodiment of the earth, while others believe she is the goddess of the earth. Gaia is celebrated as the mother of all by the Greeks, but Eve is believed to be the mother of humanity by Christians, Hebrews, and Muslims. The Hebrew version, Hawa, translates to source of life. Among her 6 children, Eve had a son, Seth, who then had Enosh, who is believed to be the ancestor of modern humans. Unfortunately, Eve gets a bad rap for giving into the serpent's temptation by eating the apple from the forbidden tree. This simple action led to the expulsion from the garden and a host of problems for women, including painful childbirth, menstruation, and death. Many of the women here know the pain of childbirth, the feeling of loss, and the enduring pain of menstruation, and yet, even with these punishments, mothers have proven to be able to shoulder the burden. Which is why many mother figures in religions also represent protection and strength. Durga, the principal aspect of the mother goddess Devi in Hinduism, is known for her strength and divine wrath, with many of her legends centered around combating evils and demonic forces atop a lion or tiger. However, Durga can take many forms, and each form is more beautiful and deadlier than the next. Many are lethal, while others are serene. One form is the heralder of springtime, similar to the Greek goddess Demeter, and another is the object of death. All the forms encompass the essence of salvation and sacrifice, both traits known to the mothers joining us here today. Even science has an original mother in the form of mitochondrial Eve. The mitochondria is considered the powerhouse of the cell and contains its own DNA. This DNA is found in all humans, but can only be transferred from mother to child with no paternal contribution. This means that your mitochondrial DNA is the same as your mother's, and your grandmother's, and great-grandmother's, and so on and so forth. Since it is the mother who passes it on, as long as your mother also had your sibling, then their mitochondrial DNA would also be identical to yours. Knowing this and how the DNA changes over time, geneticists were able to apply the mitochondrial genome to 10 genetic models of evolution that use very different sets of assumptions about the way humans migrated, expanded, and spread across the earth. Their conclusions showed that the mother to all humans lived 200,000 years ago. That is 10,000 generations of mothers passing along their DNA. And that is a lot of cards to buy. With centuries of celebrating mothers behind us, it's any wonder that it took until the 20th century to create an official holiday. Even though we have an absolute date for the proclamation, there's still debate over who created the first unofficial Mother's Day. One famous Unitarian woman and mom of 6 is buried here at Mount Auburn Cemetery in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Her name is Julia Ward Howe. Among her many accomplishments as a poet is the Battle Hymn of the Republic, which she wrote after she visited Union troops near D.C. After it was published in the Atlantic Monthly, Howe used her fame to promote the women's peace movement and started the annual Mother's Day for Peace in 1872. Like many Unitarians, she is known for her work in the women's suffrage movement. In response to what she saw during the Civil War and Franco-Prussian War, she became very anti-war and published an appeal to womanhood throughout the world, saying, "Arise, then, Christian women of this day. Arise, all women who have hearts, whether your baptism be that of water or of tears. Say firmly, we will not have great questions decided by irrelevant agencies. Our husbands shall not come to us reeking with carnage for caresses and applause. Our sons shall not be taken from us to unlearn all that we have been able to teach them of charity, mercy, and patience. We, women of one country, will be too tender of those of another country to allow our sons to be trained to injure theirs. From the bosom of the devastated earth, a voice goes up with our own. It says, disarm, disarm." These words would mark the first Mother's Day for peace. However, there is debate as to whether Howe actually created the original Mother's Day or if she merely had her own Mother's Day. The woman who is credited with the commercial side of Mother's Day is Anna Jarvis. Jarvis's own mother, Anne, was the one who originally gave her the idea by creating a Mother's Day work club in 1858. This day was one in which mothers would get together for a day of service to help out other mothers who were less fortunate than they were. This was mostly in response to the abysmal hygiene conditions that led to a high infant mortality rate. An estimated 15 to 30% of infants in that region of the Appalachian Mountains died before their first birthday throughout the 19th and early 20th century, largely due to epidemics that were spread by poor sanitary conditions. Anne herself had 13 children, of which only 4 lived to adulthood. With the help of doctors, Anne was able to organize events with mothers in order to teach them better hygiene. Upon her death in 1908, her daughter Anna sent her 500 white carnations and a promise to continue her work. She explains her choice for the white carnations. Its whiteness is to symbolize the truth, purity, and broad charity of mother love. Its fragrance, her memory, and her prayers. The carnation does not drop its petals, but hugs them to its heart as it dies. And so too mothers hug their children to their hearts, their mother love never dying. When I selected this flower, I was remembering my mother's bed of pink whites. By 1912, she had quit her job in the industry and started Mother's Day International Association. With partnership with florists and a successful letter writing campaign to state governors, which helped the holiday get recognized at the state and eventually federal level. Today is a celebration to honor the women who raised us, who wiped away tears, who kissed boo-boos, who taught us the meaning of unconditional love, and who poured into us all of their strength so that we may stand on our own. To you, I say thank you, I love you, and may you have the happiest of Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Wow, thank you, Danielle. That was just That was just terrific. And Danielle is on the Zoom call. You've heard her. So as is our tradition, we are recording the service for YouTube. I forgot to mention that earlier. And but we're going to turn the recording off after our final hymn, and you can have questions for Danielle or comments about her talk. And it's also a time we kind of get together and have some socializing. So, David, I believe we're going to extinguish the chalice now. I'll give you a time to switch the screen. Excellent. We extinguish the flaming chalice here that it might glow gently in our hearts. May it light your path as you leave this place. Thank you. And now, would everyone please rise either in body or spirit for our closing words? With unity of spirit, we go our ways in universal fellowship until we meet again. And now Whitaker will play us home, metaphorically, since we probably already are home. Hymn number 79, No Number Tallies Nature Up, another one from Emerson. David and Whit, if you will.